your life. Some people emphasize that there's multi-aspect. There's many facets of emotion that it can include a whole bunch of these. Some people try to restrict the concept of emotion from the concept of arousal and motivation and all these other things. Some people say, no, it's definitely motivation. And then there's a bunch of people that are just skeptical that this is even an important question, that we don't even care if there's emotions, we don't care how many they are, we just want to know what are the circuits that keep the animal alive through its lifetime. And so from all this, they get the golden goose. So here, maybe, is the golden goose. Emotion is a complex set of interactions among subjective and objective factors mediated by neurohormonal systems which can A, give rise to affective experiences such as feelings of arousal, pleasure, displeasure, B, generate cognitive processes such as emotionally relevant perceptual effects, appraisals, labeling processes, C, activate widespread physiological adjustments to the arousing conditions, and D, lead to behavior that is often but not always expressive, goal-directed, and adaptive. There it is, folks. Here's your definition of emotion. What do you think? Piece of cake, right? Yes.
I think the essence is just in the pleasure, displeasure, and everything else can follow from that.
The valence.
Valence.
So you emphasize valence.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it. So, anyways, take what you will. This is my favorite definition. This is the closest thing I've seen to a golden goose. A couple of other things I wanted to mention just in terms of this direction, this order of events. I wanted to mention an idea from Ledoux, and this is shown in this nice little diagram here. There's something called the high road and the low road that can help us understand some of these temporal differences, where we have a stimulus that gets detected by circuits in our sensory areas in the thalamus, and sometimes it can be projected to the sensory cortex, or it goes to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is considered the low road because we can get something that's really fast. If you throw something at me and I duck, and then I have a high heart rate and my hair's standing up, that's kind of like I'm afraid because I just ducked something coming at my head. So it's like the Jamesian order of events, right? If our stimulus goes into the sensory cortex, we start to think about it and have a feeling before we start crying. I mean, have you ever tried to make yourself cry in a time where you were sad and you just kept pushing that state and finally it came out? That's something more like the Darwinian temporal situation, where you develop an internal state, then the behavior follows, right? So that would be the difference between the fast, low road and the slow, more impactful, high road. I also just wanted to point out that check out this reference. There's a lot of really cool lesion studies that show that particular lesions in the brain can result in particular deficits in this process of emotional development, like lesions in the amygdala having defects in emotional evaluation, and this can often lead to depression in people. Lesions in the hypothalamus can lead to loss of sympathetic activation, so a loss of that big arousal adrenaline state that we get from our sympathetic activation. And there's a whole bunch of other places like ventral striatum. You can get a reduction in emotional expression. And so a lot of these theories that we talk about, it's nice to actually map them onto circuits in the human brain so we can actually say, hey, this temporal sequence means something. Appraisal theories require the amygdala to actually have effective appraisals, etc. Any questions? I'm going to take a quick drink of water, and then I'm going to just bring the rest home as quick as I can, because I want to leave some time for questions. Okay, what do we got? Okay, just wanted to mention, after doing all this work at Caltech, in this case I was sitting in a dark windowless room by myself, so I didn't have anyone to talk to. This lasted 8 years at Caltech, working on a single paper, and I'll just say, hey, I got burnt out, all right? It happens. That's something you should really think about in your careers, is like, are you really enjoying what you're doing? Or is it all about the goal someday, you know? I got burnt out at Caltech on research, so I decided to take a break, and I moved to Claremont McKenna, Pitzer, and Scripps colleges in Southern California to start teaching, to leave the lab behind for a while. I was a visiting assistant professor of biology there, and that's where I learned about real teaching, not just standing in front of people, kind of like I'm doing today. I'd much rather be discussing with you, but I was told this is not a classroom environment, it's a seminar environment. So I learned a lot about active learning, inclusive pedagogies, developing a curriculum in a way that is much more intentional, that is focused on student success, all these kinds of things. I got tons of practice. I was there for 5 years, practice, practice, practice. I taught all of their neuroscience courses at one point or another. Tons of fun. And so really, this was so impactful for me because it taught me the joy of teaching. However awesome it is to get some experimental result in the lab, those sometimes can be few and far between. For me, teaching, I get those feelings multiple times a day. So it seemed pretty clear, like this is what I really wanted to do. I'll just mention, I also at Claremont was trying to think of ways, how can I bring my old research into the classroom? And so I developed these little low-cost rigs for observing fly social behavior. So I made these in my dad's garage. You can see the beat up wood. I welded some metal, attached a camera here. There's a red LED there. And these are actually student videos from one of my classes where they're actually observing fly courtship. And you can see that here. This male was singing to the female and attempted to copulate with her. Here's another video of that from the top. He's singing with one wing, and trying to copulate with this female. So a very well-studied behavior in the animal kingdom. Super important behavior in neuroscience. But I also brought in these optogenetic experiments where you can activate central brain neurons of a fly by just shining a red light. And here is some student taking videos here. Turn on the light, we see the threat display. Turn on the light with 2 flies, we see the threat display. And I'll show you this video. I don't know what this student was thinking, but his idea was, I'm gonna let a male copulate with a female and mount her, and that usually lasts about 20 minutes. And while they're in the act of copulation, I'm gonna turn on the light and see what happens. And so here what you see is when the light comes on, both the male and the female during the act of copulation start threatening. And so we start to ask questions like, what are these emotional states? Do they compete with each other? And these are the kinds of questions that are still open to me. So we also worked on some workflow so students could actually analyze the video, score the behaviors, do all the stuff that you would normally do in the lab. Okay. Finally, I'll end with just a bit about UC Riverside. A year ago, I was hired as an assistant professor of teaching in the molecular cell and systems biology department. Finally, a tenure track job! And I'll say that while I was in Claremont for 5 years, I was applying to 40, 50 jobs, even outside of academia. I got so close in some interviews, I felt desperation. I felt like I wasn't meant to do this. And then finally, I landed this job, and now life has changed. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm really trying to bring small-scale pedagogy that I got from the liberal arts environments to large-scale lecture halls. So my class currently is 120. Next quarter, I'll be teaching 250. And so also thinking about bringing fly research into the classroom. So with these rigs that I just showed you, I got a grant to upgrade them and have students come in and do real fly research as part of their regular curriculum. So I'm trying to get space for that. And we call these a cure course. Essentially, undergrads come in, they do research, they leave, they get course credit, potentially publish some papers in fly research. The main thing I wanted to mention was next quarter, this big one, I get to teach CBNS 106. And if you recall, this was the original class at UCR that inspired me in neuroscience in 2004. And so I've come full circle, And I'm hoping to inspire a bunch of little Brians later on. And I'll just quickly, what is happiness? Is it pleasure? You know, probably we all have a lot of definitions. We could talk about, oh, it's just the level of dopamine or serotonin in my brain. It's just the level of opioid activation in my brain. That's what happiness really is, right? Come on, am I right? Am I right? Right? Well, we feel it too. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, endorphins, other kinds of things. You can look them up. I like this happiness formula. I really just pulled this off Google Images. But it really points out, like, happiness is due to a biological set point. We all start it with a particular set of cards. We might have neurodivergence. We might have depression. We might have been born into a advantageous environment. This is going to be our biological and social set point. Our social set point here is in C. And then, of course, our voluntary activities. We decide what we do in life that might enhance or decrease our happiness. Great paper here that just shows the effect of emotions on mood, where our individual emotions can go up and down throughout the day. Our mood might track those individual emotions. And if our mood is above or below our affective happiness line, then we're either happy or we're not happy. And so it's really important to be intentional about that happiness line, whatever that might be for you, right? Especially when you're going through different stages of your career. If you haven't been hired at a job for 5 years that you thought you were meant to do, it can get rough. And so I want to just say happiness is up to you. You've got to find out what you want to do to be more happy. If you find something that makes you happy, keep doing that. If you find something that doesn't make you happy, don't do that. For me, hiking is one. This is me walking up to a nice alpine lake. This is me looking at a sunset at 10,000 feet. Happiness is just a process, you know. You can start out with these stimuli, but it's a process through different aspects of activation of particular different parts of your brain over time, ultimately getting to your conscious enjoyment or liking of a particular situation, a particular moment, a particular dish that you're eating, a particular concert, and then you develop your taste, you learn what you like, you try to enhance that to increase happiness. Love. I won't say anything about love because we're running out of time. But what a thing, right? Lots of things happening in your brain, lots of different emotions associated with a romantic partner. But the main thing I want to end with is this concept of healthy relationships. Throughout my entire career, ups and downs, the thing that has determined my happiness the most is my healthy relationships. And I just want to walk through it quickly. I know most of you know this already, but I wanted to say, healthy relationships will all revolve around respect. And this has to do with safety. There's no intimidation or manipulation. We respect physical space. We express ourselves non-violently. We maintain open and honest communication. We're truthful in our healthy relationships. We support each other. We're understanding. We offer encouragement. We listen non-judgmentally. We cooperate. We ask and not expect. We accept change. We make decisions together. Ultimately, we trust each other. We can take each other at each other's word. We don't have to worry that that person might be lying to us. And ultimately, we get accountability. We admit